Today we are going to start with the concepts of trigonometry. In trigonometry, we only use the right angled triangle, which is 90-degree triangle. So we have 6 trigonometric ratios in this topic. So that we call it as sin theta, cos theta, tan theta, cot theta, secant theta and cosecant theta. These are the 6 ratios in trigonometry. We also have formulas for finding these ratios. Okay. So these ratios formulas depends upon the sides of the triangle. So this one, the slanting side is always the hypotenuse, it never changes. So the slanting side always hypotenuse. You've also studied in your previous years about in the topic of Pythagoras theorem, right? So this side is always hypotenuse. And when you take the other two sides, so one is opposite, one is adjacent, but it depends upon where we are placing the theta. If I place the theta in the place of C is opposite side, I am taking it as AB. Opposite is either direct opposite or to the side of opposite. Okay, so here theta's opposite side is AB. Adjacent is very near to you, very near to that thing, right? So adjacent is what? Very near, like either to your left or to right. So here very near is like to this point of theta. Near to theta will be BC. This is adjacent side. Okay, so nearer is adjacent and opposite is theta's opposite side. Okay, so if I place the theta in the place of B, hypotenuse never changes, it always the hypotenuse. If the slanting side comes, that is hypotenuse. So nearer to theta is adjacent, so this is nearer to, so BC is adjacent and AB is opposite side, obviously. So if you take theta in the place of A, hypotenuse never changes, slanting side is always hypotenuse. Opposite to theta is this, BC is opposite, and adjacent is nearer to theta, which is AB. Okay, so you need to know where, if the theta is placed in any side, you need to know like which is opposite, which is adjacent and which is hypotenuse. This is very important to solve these or finding these trigonometric ratios. So first, sin theta formula is opposite by hypotenuse. Opposite, for just take an example of this first figure. So sin theta is opposite by hypotenuse. So theta sin theta, opposite side is this, right? Theta's opposite side is this. So AB by AC, that is sin theta from this first figure. Likewise, cos theta is adjacent by hypotenuse. So just you have to remember this, you have to memorize this formula. Sin theta is opposite by hypotenuse, cos theta is adjacent by hypotenuse, tan theta is always you take the sine and cos numerator and divide it for tan, opposite by adjacent. So this is for remembering tricks. So sin theta means it is opposite side, cos theta means adjacent side, denominator is always hypotenuse for sine and cos. Okay, tan theta, you just take the numerator opposite and adjacent and divide it, opposite by adjacent. Cot theta is always the inverse of tan. So you just think like tan and cot are inverse friends. Inverse means reciprocal friends. Okay, so if tan theta is opposite by adjacent, cot theta you reciprocal this, adjacent by opposite. So denominator comes to numerator, numerator comes to denominator. So tan and cot are reciprocal friends, that is inverse friends. Okay, now next come to the secant. Can you see this cos theta's reciprocal is secant? So cos and secant are inverse friends. You just remember this, cos and secant are inverse friends. If cos is adjacent by hypotenuse, secant is hypotenuse by adjacent. Okay. And next one is sine. Sine is opposite by hypotenuse. Cosecant is hypotenuse by opposite. So can you see sine and cosecant are inverse friends? So always remember sine and cosecant are inverse, cos and secant are inverse, tan and cot are inverse. This is very important concept in trigonometry. Okay, so sin theta is opposite by hypotenuse, cos is adjacent by hypotenuse, tan is you take the numerator of sin and cos opposite by adjacent, cot will be reciprocal of tan, secant will be reciprocal of cos, and cosecant will be reciprocal of sin. Inverse ratios we have just now discussed, sin and cosecant are inverse friends, no? So sin equal 1 by cosecant or cosecant equal 1 by sin. Cos and secant are inverse friends. So cos is 1 by secant or secant will be 1 by cos. Tan and cot are inverse friends. So tan is 1 by cot or cot is 1 by tan. So you can write it in either way. Next, if you also remember, you can write this tan theta as sin theta by cos theta. Okay, what is tan theta? Sin theta by cos theta. Cot theta will be cos theta by sin theta. So these are very important for the proving problems. Okay, so next is all about identities. What is trigonometry identities? We totally have three identities. Identities means you will get the answer as one, that is you will get the value as one. So here we have three identity. One is based on sine and cos. Sine square plus cos square is equal to 1. So that is your first identity. Second identity is secant and tan. Secant square minus tan square is equal to 1. Third identity is cosecant square minus cot square is equal to 1, right? So can you see, this is the only we have positive sign, other two are negative. Okay, so all three will give 1 as the answer. Okay, so just remember this identity. Other formulas you can just take it from this identity. Sin square theta plus cos square theta is 1. Now if you wanted to find sin square theta, send this cos square to this side, right hand side. So plus cos square goes that side as minus cos square. So 1 minus cos square theta. And cos square, keep it as it is. Sin square, if you send 1 minus sin square theta. Now take the secant square theta, minus tan square goes that side as plus tan square. So secant square is 1 plus tan square. And tan square is secant square theta minus 1. So cosecant square is equal to cot square, I am sending that side 1 plus cot square. If you want to find cot square, you send this cot square this side, 1 to this side. So cosecant square theta minus 1. Okay, so totally we have three identity. Sin square theta plus cos square theta is 1. Secant square minus tan square is 1. Cosecant square minus cot square is equal to 1. So based on this, we have two findings. That is, what is sin square, what is cos square, what is secant square, what is tan square, and what is cosecant square, what is cot square. So you all should be remembered by you. You have to memorize everything. Okay. Next is about trigonometric angles. So there is a trick to remember this trigonometric angle. So listen carefully, students. So I'll give the trick to remember the trigonometric angle. So first is 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree, right? So here trigonometric ratio, always write it in this order: sin theta, cos theta, tan theta, cot theta, secant theta, cosecant theta. Okay, so just remember only sin theta. Okay, other things and all I'll give the tricks to remember. 0, 1 by 2, 1 by root 2, root 3 by 2, 1. Okay, so first remember this one line. Okay, this one single line is enough. Okay, so this you need to remember. When you come to cos theta, just go from the last. So what is sin 91? So you write that one as 0 degree for cos 0. And what is sin 60 root 3 by 2? So write this for 30 degree. So always go from the backwards for cos theta. Sin theta is 0, 1 by 2, 1 by root 2, root 3 by 2, 1. So cos theta will be 1, root 3 by 2, 1 by root 2, 1 by 2 and 0. So go from the backwards for cos theta. Okay. So now when you come to the tan theta, we have already discussed in previous formulas, right? So you have to take only numerator and divide it, right? So for tan theta, just take the numerator alone and divide it. So here 0, 1 is there, so 0 by 1 is 0, and take only numerator. This is 1 root 3, divide this numerator 1 by root 3. Okay, so here 1, 1, so 1 by 1 is 1. So here root 3 by 1 will be root 3, and 1 by 0 will be not defined, that is infinite, right? So this is tan theta. And for the cot theta, just go from the backwards. 90 degree will be the 0 degree, and 60 degree root 3 will be the 30 degree, and 45 is 1, and 1 by root 3 is 60 degree, and here 0 will be the last 90 degree. So sin theta, if you remember, cos theta, go from the backwards. Okay, tan theta, just divide only the numerator of sin and cos, and for cot theta, go from the backwards of tan. Okay, so next is for secant theta, right? So secant is the inverse of, do you know the secant inverse? So we have discussed in our previous formula session. So secant theta is the inverse of cos theta. So secant and cos are inverse friends. So inverse means you just have to reciprocal it. So what is the cos theta? It is 1. So reciprocal means you think like it is 1 by 1. So reciprocal it, again you will get 1 only. So here for the 30 degree, root 3 by 2. Reciprocal it, 2 by root 3 will be the 30 degree for secant theta. For here, if you reciprocal, root 2. For here, if you reciprocal 2. And always remember, when you are reciprocaling for 0, you think 0 by 1. So 1 by 0 will be not defined. So if 0 is there, you think like it is 0 by 1. So if you are going to reciprocal it, it will become 1 by 0. 1 by 0 is always not defined. When you have 0 in the denominator, that is not defined. Okay, so for cosecant theta, just go from the last. Okay, infinite, sorry, not defined, 2, root 2, 2 by root 3 and 1. So remember, cos, cot and cosecant, you can go from the backwards of the previous ratio. Okay, if cos, you need to find cos means go from the backwards of sine. You need to find cot means go from the backwards of tan, and for cosecant go from the backwards of secant. And you need to remember only sine. For tan, you take the numerator of sine and cos, divide it. For secant, take the cos and reciprocal it. Okay, so that's all. It is very easy to remember. Like, if you understand this trick, it is easy to frame the table. Okay, let us begin with the exercise 8.1 first question. So they have given in triangle ABC, right angled at B. AB is 24, BC is 7. Okay, so here right angled at B they have given. So ABC triangle. So right angled at B, they have given AB as 24 and BC as 7 centimeter. So if theta is not mentioned, okay, here the theta is not mentioned, you can either take A as theta or C as theta. Okay, always don't take this B as theta, because B is always 90 degree, right? So try to take A and C as the theta. Any place you can take and calculate, always it will give the same answer. So I am taking it A as the theta. So you know the Pythagoras theorem, right? If two sides is known, you can use the Pythagoras theorem to get the third side. So always first step is to get all three sides values. Okay. So here two sides values there, AC is not there. So to find AC, I am using the Pythagoras theorem. You know the Pythagoras theorem, no? This is the longest side. Hypotenuse is the longest side. So longest side, the whole square is equal to other two sides, the whole square, like AB square plus BC square. AC square equal to AB square plus BC square. Just square it, 24 square plus 7 square. If you calculate, I am getting 625. AC square 625 means AC will be 25 the whole square, which is 25 centimeter. Root and square will be get cancelled. So AC equal to 25 centimeter. Now I got AC value 25 centimeter, right? I need to find sine A, cos A. And why I'm taking A as the theta? Because I have A here, right? So to find sine A, I must write A as the theta. Okay. To find the sine A, I must write A as the theta. If sine B is given, you can take this place as theta. If sine C is given, you can take this place as theta. So what is the sine formula? We have discussed, no, opposite by hypotenuse is the sine ratio, right? To find the trigonometric ratio value, you have to use that opposite adjacent values of formulas. So sine theta is opposite by hypotenuse. So they have given sine A. So A's opposite side is BC, right? 7 centimeter. Hypotenuse side is AC. So we just now we found AC is 25. So you can just write 7 by 25, right? Next, to find the cos A, adjacent by hypotenuse. Cos A. A's adjacent will be 24 and hypotenuse is AC, which is 25. So 24 by 25 is cos A. Okay. So first you need to find out all three sides, and then you have to get the ratios value using the formula. Okay. Next question, they have given sin C cos C. The same continuation of the first question, sin C cos C. We know all three sides value, right? Now C, you have to take theta in the place of C. So because they have given sin C cos C. So if they have given alphabet, you have to take the theta in the place of C. So here sin C will be opposite side is 24, hypotenuse side is 25. So 24 by 25. For cos C, adjacent side is 7 and hypotenuse is 25. So 7 by 25. Okay. So this type of problem, when you wanted to find the ratios, you need to know all the three sides of the triangle. So mostly they used to give two sides of the values, and third side you're going to use Pythagoras theorem to get the third value. Kindly subscribe to our channel to get more videos on important question types of Adi Sharma and previous year question papers. So stay connected to our channel, students. See you next class. Bye bye.